Hey, coming up right now, Hawaii wants to preserve paradise with a new fee. More on their new climate tourist tax.
Also coming up, talk about going the distance for love. Why one woman flew 2,000 miles for a first date.
A little bit later on, abandoned toddler raised by dogs. It sounds like something you'd see of a crazy tabloid headline. However, it's a true story. We're going to tell you the bizarre details straight ahead.
Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
Rat-a-tat-tat, Mitch English here. Welcome to Daily Flash, a big hour set up for you, and we're so glad to have you here. Do not change the dial. Stay right here. No need to go anywhere whatsoever here. And as we move closer to the weekend, any plans for you? Any movies you're going to check out?
No, but I keep hearing about Dune.
Dune!
Yes, the sequel,
The
right? Or part two.
It's like part two. My understanding, they shot it at the same time, but then COVID and everything. Matt, have you seen Dune yet? Are you going to see it?
I got to see
it.
Oh,
you got to see Dune.
My fiance is a massive fan of the whole thing, so she's nerding out like I'm going to see Endgame. I'm sitting there just going, I have no idea what is happening. And I saw the first one, and I'm just like, sand and a lot of dirty looking worms. I don't know what's going on here.
See, that's what I thought about the first one. I tried to watch the first one, and nothing clicked for me.
Speaking of the first one, Maddie and I, last weekend, we went and saw Sting and Billy Joel together. And Sting was in Dune. It was freaking amazing.
Yep.
And on the way back, because we spent the night over there, we're driving back. I go, hey, did Sting sing this? Sting sing this song? Did he do this? They're like, yeah, he did. And then he sends me video. You were standing there singing along with it. I'm like, oh yeah. So I think I'm at that age where maybe this might be my last concert for a while.
That was the average age of everybody there.
I know. You know what was cool is seeing adult parents with their kids.
Yeah, but
that were into the music. You know,
standing in line for the bathroom though, everybody there looked like Billy Joel.
Yeah, no kidding. And the lines for the bathroom are a lot longer than most concerts, for sure.
Well, they say you should always hang out with people who are a lot older than you, so you're the youngest person in the room. So there you go.
There you go.
Maybe that's why everybody hangs out with me. No, never even thought about it. We go to Hawaii now. Lawmakers there are moving forward with a $25 climate tax on tourists who actually visit the Aloha State. They claim that it's a way to fight, and they're actually calling it an assault on the state's natural resources. More than 9 million people have booked a trip to the Aloha State last year. The proposed tax will help pay to protect beaches and prevent wildfires. No parking lots, though, right? They're not going to pave paradise, bring in a parking lot. Yeah. A tax by the nation's 50 states going to follow in the footsteps of other hot tourist spots. Greece, Venice, as well as the Galapagos Islands, all of which have levied fees on tourists ranging from $1 to $100. The Aloha tourist fee would likely be tacked onto the state's hotel tax, which is actually the highest in the country, something that we deal with here in Orlando, but also Vegas. I mean, they make so much money just off hotel stays that you won't necessarily go, all right, well, I'm here in Hawaii, here's my fee. It'll be worked into those the sign on the back of the hotel door that says the hotel room is like $900. I guess it's a Motel 6. Yeah. There's no way this is a. You ever seen that?
They break down the cost.
Yes.
For you. Yeah. The room itself is like $99, but everything on top of it equals $900 for a night stay.
Right.
I've had people who talk about going to the Galapagos Islands, and in order to go, their tourist fee is $100, but you've got to have $100 in cash that you pay before you get on the boat that takes you out of town to the island. Yeah.
Oh, so what I was talking about actually really happens.
It really is true, yeah. But and everybody does it a little bit different. But you've got to have the extra cash on hand to pay this tourist fee before you go to the island.
And a lot of people are they're going to say, well, it's part of the tax, so you're not going to really see it. But you have to keep in mind these things will start to build up, and eventually, where does that money? How does it actually go down? It's kind of like I think of like the lottery. It's like, oh, it's for the children.
Right.
Like how much is the children actually?
And the schools.
And here they use it to add on to the giant convention center we already have. They don't really use it for anything we need. It's more convention space.
I've always wondered where the lottery money for the school goes. What is that lottery money buying? Because I've never seen any story reveal what that lotto money pays for.
And that's the point I'm wondering about. Like that, it's like, okay, how is that money going to? I'm sure it gets put into a fund in Hawaii somewhere. But and God bless them, they went through incredible fires that went there and have destroyed so much. And these are people that are very proud of of their islands, and they
Yeah.
want to preserve it. So I can kind of understand what they're wanting to do, but I want to know where the money's going.
But I think the question is when it comes to, let's say, for example, the Galapagos Islands,
Okay.
you're paying $100 to someone. You don't know where that $100
Especially
is
cash,
going.
right?
Yeah, in cash. You know, it's supposedly going to the government of Ecuador to maintain the Galapagos Islands. Let's hope that's exactly what happens. But you don't know because it's cash changing hands and it's really untraceable.
I want you to book my next vacation.
I'll work
I
on
mean,
it.
you seem
Yeah.
like you know what's going on.
We'll talk about going the distance for love. One woman flew more than 2,000 miles for a first date, and she's already planning a second one. 30-year-old Nicole Christine flew to Park City, Utah from Charlotte, North Carolina to meet a guy she matched with on an exclusive dating app. Nicole was scrolling through her prospects when she noticed a guy she knew but hadn't spoken to in years. The two exchanged messages and started planning a date. He lives out in California, so they agreed to meet kind of in the middle. They chose Park City, Utah for a 4-night date to go skiing, dining, and shopping.
That's a hookup, I'm
Nicole
sorry.
said the
That is
date
not a date.
was
That's
perfect.
expensive.
In Park City, that's a hook. Anyway, I'm sorry. Good.
It's okay. She said the date was perfect, and they do plan to see each other again. However, Mitch,
Yeah.
both agreed it won't be exclusive because of the long distance.
Okay, now you're great at travel agency. This girl's great at like just selling what she actually did. That was a hookup, dude.
Was that a 4-night booty call?
Yeah, and by the way, Park City, Utah, and I mean is unbelievably, especially this time
Yeah.
of year. You can call it what you want. If hey, you know what, that's an expensive first date, but it sounds like it didn't work out, right? If they're just saying they don't want to be exclusive.
Well, and the fact that they probably both paid a lot of money for this dating app, right? Because it's one of those
Okay,
higher
yeah.
end dating apps, and they knew each other.
Okay.
And so then she started messaging. So couldn't you have just done that on Facebook?
100%.
For free.
Save a lot of money, folks.
Yeah.
We're here to save you money. Keep that in mind.
Well, this next story seems like something ripped from the headlines of a trashy tabloid. Young girl raised by dogs. Authorities say a Ukrainian girl was found barking, growling, and walking on all fours after her alcoholic parents locked her outside in the cold. Now, in an effort to survive, the 3-year-old made a home for herself inside of a kennel where she lived for the next 5 years. The toddler was embraced by a pack of undomesticated animals. This is according to experts and authorities there. But removing the toddler from what had become her natural habitat and reuniting her with humans has proven difficult. This is just one of approximately 100 known feral cases involving humans throughout history. She's since been reunited with family, and her rehabilitation is ongoing.
It's sad to see that. I mean, there's obviously that's a mental condition going on there altogether. And the way my brain works actually is the whole time. In 60 minutes, as the clock goes backwards. On the, that's one thing. Still, that's sad to see that for somebody to be able to do that. Sylvester Stallone forced to undergo 7 major surgeries after he suffered a neck fracture when he was filming a fight scene with wrestler turned actor Steve Austin on the set of The Expendables back in 2010. Not the Bionic Man Steve Austin, the wrestler.
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
Stone
Thank
Cold.
you, sir. As we go to our wrestling expert, Matt Doolittle. According to the veteran actor, he required a metal plate in his neck. The actor also needed spinal fusions and treatment for dislocated shoulders. In a bizarre twist of fate, while undergoing a few of his early procedures, Stallone was put on an adjacent hospital bed next to fellow Expendable star, guess who?
Arnold
Good dog got my eye. He was actually undergoing surgery for a shoulder injury. Stallone's wife, supermodel Jennifer Flavin, admitted that she was terrified every time her husband has to go under a knife. Who wouldn't be? The actor's surgeon reportedly told him that he may need to have artificial discs placed in his lower spine at some point in the future. Stallone's latest revelations comes after he said 2 of his daughters were trained in self-defense by Navy SEALs ahead of their move to New York City. So he's looking out for them, make sure they know special effects, or not special effects, how to defend themselves. Special forces.
Yeah.
So my head gets going here. However, Stallone is actually the EP of this. Am I right, Maddie?
Yeah.
Of these movies, and they
them
just
together.
keep churning them out. I think they're like, what now?
He's on like the 4th one, but he's one of those guys that doesn't want to use the stunt actors.
Yeah.
So he wants to take the hits and be involved in it. But also, when you're working with a guy like Stone Cold, he's not trained in stunt work. He's worked in.
He's used to that.
used to
pain,
getting
right?
hit like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
Stone Cold's had 8 or 9 back surgeries himself.
Well, he mentions this in the documentary on Netflix. I think you saw
Yes,
this,
and you
right?
got to see this.
And
Yeah, that's a
it-
great
You
one.
know, and it's kind of terrifying to think like the injury that and they kind of touch on that and go into it a little bit, the injuries he suffered on the set of that movie. And it's sort of like, at this point in your career, you don't need to do any
I
of that
think you're
stuff.
Sylvester Stallone. You're trying to prove something to
You're
yourself.
right, yes,
Dolph
exactly.
Lundgren knocked him out. when
Which,
they
by
were
the-
filming one of the Rockies, he got knocked out.
That's true.
And,
Which, by the way-
hard, like they had to take him to the hospital
Really?
and everything. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Dolph Lundgren, who's now an American citizen, last week he became American citizen.
Did he
This guy,
really?
do you know how brilliant this guy is? He's like a physicist. He's extremely smart. Yeah, look, this is a great guy. Another suggestion for us, when you watch the Stallone documentary, put the captions on.
Yes.
You'll probably understand.
Yeah, you are not wrong. You are not wrong.
There's a lot of captions going on right now in streaming shows.
Will we have it on the other side of our commercial break?
We
Who
will.
knows? We probably will. Stick around, more Flash coming up right after
Caption
this.
this.
Caption this. Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. Mitch English here. All right, right now I'm actually going to reveal something to the world that actually I've kept secret for many years. Dramatic pause here. Andrea Jackson actually ghosted me during hosting duties way back in the day. How awkward now is that she and I do this amazing show called Daily Flash. Okay? Actually, I'm joking. No, she never ghosted me. But what do you do when you see a person who just, well, disappeared on you? You were in a relationship or you were hanging out and all of a sudden you never heard anymore. Joining us now to talk about all of this is relationship expert, Dr. Janie Lacey. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Lacey. How are you?
I am doing a wonderful, Mitch, and I'm so sorry to hear about your ghosting experience.
It was sad. It's sad, but somehow Jackson and I worked our way through it. It's happened, man. You know, and whether it's on a business kind of situation or maybe a relationship as well, being ghosted, it's so awkward because, all right, you have to explain what happened. What's some of the common reactions, maybe even emotions people might experience when they see a person that's actually ghosted them?
You know, I think when people are ghosted, it's going to bring up so many different emotions, Mitch, and that's normal. Normal in the sense that, well, what happened? But first, let's think about what ghosting is, right?
Okay.
So somebody wants to end that relationship, but I would say they don't have enough maturity to have that conversation with the person. So they just do it suddenly. They just withdraw from all communication. And you're like, well, what happened? So what's going to happen is that person's going to be asking a lot of questions. Well,
Sure.
is it me? Did I do something wrong? So, you know, when we find these situations, it's very, very hurtful, Mitch, regardless of whose fault it is. It leaves the person who was ghosted with a lot of questions and hurt feelings.
And it's only up to them to speculate what happened because, well, you ghosted them. You weren't there to defend yourself. So I think they're okay to feel that way until they get any kind of resolution. What's the first thing someone actually should do when they see that person again that had just ghosted them?
You know, a lot of times when people have these unanswered questions and then let's say they're out and about, they did not expect to actually see this person and wow, there they are. You know, I always tell people the first thing you need to do is you just need to keep yourself together. Stay calm, don't have any reaction, and then do some type of internal check. In that moment, you can think about, okay, well, how do I feel? Like, am I still angry? Do I want to go and run up and choke that person? Or have I moved on? Because that's going to dictate how you either interact or how you don't interact with that person. So the first thing I always suggest is just, Mitch, is to stay calm and do not react.
Okay, so when you say that, it's like just don't let their presence, bother them. Let it bother you is all. I guess it's giving that confidence back because there was something that they didn't want to reveal to you, I guess, about that. So I can imagine that. What's some other things that we should do after we've done that? We don't run off. We confront it. We deal with it. We say, listen, we're not going to let this bother us. What should we be doing in our mind while we're talking to them?
In that moment when you first decide, have I moved on? Am I angry at this person? Is there something unresolved? Is then you want to choose your response, right? Do you want to have a conversation with them, Mitch, or do you want to just acknowledge their presence, maybe a brief nod or just some type of acknowledgement, or do you want to just ignore them altogether? So once you kind of assess your feelings, stay calm, choose your response, and then that's going to dictate what their next move is. But if you do choose to have a conversation with them, you want to remember that you may not get any type of closure. So I always suggest keep it light, right? Maybe if you just want to say, hi, how are you doing? You want to act cool, calm, collected, no big deal, just be polite. But the most important thing, as I tell people, is to read the situation, right? Read the room.
Right.
So if they're coming off and they don't want to talk to you, Mitch, then you probably should not try to force the situation because you're going to re-injure yourself. But if they're keeping it light and they want to have some type of polite conversation with you and you choose to engage in that, then do so. But I would say prioritize your well-being, especially if it was a hurtful situation, because a lot of times people want to seek closure and come at this person. What happened? Why did you not communicate with me? And you're only going to hurt yourself. So stay confident through the whole encounter. if you choose to engage with them. If you choose not to engage with them, acknowledge them and move it on. Keep it moving.
I agree with you 100% on that. And it sounds easy to do, but really it takes a lot because a lot of emotions come back to when you see that person all together. And I guess if you can keep in mind, something that's always worked for me at least is that anybody that is in your life wants to be in your life. If that person doesn't, then what's the sense even having them around? If they want to be in your life, they will be. And I guess they took off. So very good stuff there. And if you want to find out more information, of course, maybe get some help with relationships, you could actually check out Janie Lacey at lifecounselingsolutions.com. Go there and check out that and so much more. Love having you on. Janie Lacey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, just for the record, I never ghosted Mitch.
Well, I tend to disagree.
All right, you've likely heard the saying, the higher the hair, the closer to heaven.
Yeah.
Yet big old hair making a big old comeback. Rolled curls, teased bouffants, spiky mullets, and shag do's are trending on social media. Yep, thanks to celebs like Miley Cyrus at the Grammys, the big hair trends are taking over the runways and the red carpets. Style experts say if it's big, loud, and expressive, it is on point right now in the fashion industry. One fashion insider says there's been a spike in customers wanting to look like 80s pop icons like Robert Smith from The Cure or Susie of Susie and the Banshees. And he's expecting a full-on 80s hair revival. One hair historian says big hair was a status symbol during the Reagan years, and it also allowed women to take up space along with those big shoulder pads. It's being called the latest statement for anyone who wants to fill their social screens with big hair as the ultimate power move.
There's also we have no ozone with all that Aquanet. Remember that? It was crazy, man.
Did you have the big hair?
I had a beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous mullet. But it went all the way down. It was a mullet mohawk, and it came down about right here. I wish I just wish I had, any kind of hair up there.
I think the mullet is the perfect disguise for a number of different hairstyles. The mullet mohawk, that's a perfect combination.
But the best part about the mullet is now I've seen women actually have the mullets, and they're almost kind of sporting it as well. They actually are making it work more than I was able to do. I'm just saying they do it. They make it work. But no, it's not.
Okay.
I tell you what, we're going to have some business in the front. We're going to do right now, and a party in the back.
I like it.
Return. Stick around.
Hey guys, welcome to Doing It This Week with Matt Doolittle. And we did it with the amazing Sting and Billy Joel this last weekend. Myself, Mitch, and the greatest Tim Tebow impersonator I know, Travis Dale, headed over to Tampa to see their tour. It was amazing. These are the safe for work photos I can send you. And Billy was always on my list to see before he fully retires. So it was absolutely amazing. The weather was great. And if you get the chance, you need to come party with us sometimes. Trust me. This was basically my third bachelor party, we'll put it that way. Now, we'd love to show you some of the video from the concert with the music in the background. However, due to some copyright laws, we can't play the audio. However, joining me in the flashback room is Mr. Mitch English to give us his versions of the songs for you as, they did them in the concert. First up, Mitch, can we get to see Sting?
Oh, yeah.
We got to see Sting. So can you please give us the rendition of the song he did? Ready?
All right, yeah.
For Brand New Day.
Brand New Day. Let's start up. It was awesome. Everybody was screaming there. It was like, brand new day. It was awesome.
It was great. Great rendition there, buddy. Now, we move on to Billy Joel. And you can give us a little bit of Uptown Girl.
So then everybody was all like, oh, Uptown Girl.
Okay, I think we're right in the infringement time. Okay, and now, what about a little bit of Start the Fire?
That one got everybody going.
That he finished the show with. It was awesome. Yeah, so it was one of those concerts where if you get a chance, you've got to go see those things. Mitch, what did you kind of take away from it overall?
I took away that no matter what, if Sting plays, he'll do Roxanne.
He'll do Roxanne, because you finally remembered seeing it. I found the picture and the video of you literally standing there like this seeing it. Sting likes to drag out the concert a lot. And the guys, everybody at the bathrooms looked like Billy Joel.
Everybody gets to that age like we did to look just like Billy Joel.
Now, it was a $55 t-shirt on top of all that and $20 beers, so make sure you bring enough cash with you. Thank you, Mitch, and if anyone wants to know what it's like to hang out with us on the weekends, there's a look into the proper Doing It segment with Sting and Billy Joel. Andrea, when are you gonna join us on one of these trips? Come on, you know you want to.
As soon as I get an invitation from you guys. I know it's been sort of bachelors only recently, so I would love to be a part of the next trip. Well, Fabian Marcano from Daily Flash Latino joins us now for our relationship refresh. Fabian, welcome back,
guys. I'm not used to being in the middle, but it feels very interesting.
You were in the middle today.
I love it. Relationships is about being in the middle. Well, and with the massive service outage that we had recently, you guys had that, right?
Oh, yeah.
It brought this topic to my head. How would people in the world today react if they didn't have service specifically for the single people out there to meet others? How would they do that today?
Well, yeah. The whole thing was you always went to the supermarket, and that seemed like that was a good place because you can kind of tell about a person, like what's in their shopping cart.
Produce section.
The produce section. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
It's the produce section.
But no, it's true because they're eating healthy, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And if they're feeling the melons too much, then you worry maybe there's something going on.
Okay, so like I was thinking maybe like a library was the thing back in the day.
That'd be kind of right, yeah.
You know, school maybe, universities and stuff like that, maybe, possibly, no?
Well, the only thing I'd say about a library is you have to talk kind of slow. And it sounds really creepy. It's like, so what's your name?
Yeah, that would kind of be. Yeah. What book are you reading?
Work is probably the #1 place to meet people because it's a coworker. You're kind of familiar with them. I know that the dating rules at certain kinds of workplaces vary, but that seems to be one of the more authentic places to meet, and through friends too.
You usually see somebody and they're as close to their natural element as they possibly can at work. Generally, you can see how they handle stuff, right?
Yeah.
I've heard recently about work wives and work husbands. That's a new thing I've heard about.
Well, Jackson and I, 20 years together. So.
Hey, but check this out. A recent survey from Pew Research discovered that 74% of adult users on the internet who report that the internet had an impact on their marriage or partnership say that the impact was positive.
Okay.
Still, 20% said mostly was negative, and 4% said it was both good and bad. On the other hand, 41% of those 18 to 29-year-olds in serious relationships have felt closer to their partner because of internet or text message conversations.
I think text message is really valuable because, I don't like talking on the phone, but if I just want to let my wife, she's across the country right now, if I just want to let her know I'm thinking of her, a text message is great. I can just send it, and then she can read it wherever she wants. So I could see how texting would help.
However, the text messages early on in the relationship are far different than when you're 5 years into the relationship.
Yes,
Very good point. And some things get lost in translation too.
Yes,
like you can read thing one way, and it's like, no, I didn't mean it like that at all.
Very true, and the tone is different too.
Right.
When you text something, you don't really know how they feel or what they're actually trying to tell you. That's why I think it made an advancement, like you said. It kind of pushed into the future, I guess, with the text message. You can quickly text somebody, tell them exactly how you feel, or tell them what you want to say. But I feel like it actually kind of made us draw back a little bit because now we don't want to talk on the phone.
That's true. Well, I just said, I don't
hear
like
a
talking.
voice.
Right, yeah.
But FaceTime's a thing now.
That not only that, your phone also tells you where you're at. So if you're somewhere you're not supposed to be.
Location services.
I can see that being a problem too.
And the eggplant in the produce department is a whole new meaning. I'm just saying.
Thank you, Fabian, for rehashing. Of course, if you want to check out Daily Flash Latino, go to dailyflashlatino.com. Check your local listings and times.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everybody. I am Mitch English.
And I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash, your source for trending news and entertainment. So a headline caught my attention this morning. Wendy's to roll out Uber-style surge pricing with menu price fluctuations based on demand. So much like Uber and Lyft, when they have certain high demands, they raise the prices. So for instance, if you're going to a Sting Billy Joel concert, the Uber ride to and from that stadium is going to be a lot more expensive. So Wendy's, starting in 2025, is going to test this out. Depending on the popularity of the time, let's say lunchtime, depending on the popularity of the item, those prices will fluctuate depending on what time you come to their restaurant.
We're not talking about delivery when you're actually in there.
The restaurant. restaurant.
That is
yeah.
like stock market almost,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I think it goes for everything, whether you're in the restaurant or whether you're ordering online for delivery, depending on what particular time you order. If that's the hot item at that moment, the prices may fluctuate.
Okay, now you're going to notice, and you probably already have, the newer restaurants that people, these fast food restaurants are making, smaller dining rooms.
Yeah.
They don't want people to go in there because that requires more employees inside the building, and they know that delivery comes along. That is going to be interesting to see if it catches on.
And it's part of the AI
that's
revolution
interesting.
too with fast food restaurants. So they'll depend on AI for this to help them determine what item is selling the most and at what particular time that item is selling. And then those prices will fluctuate based on what AI may or may not tell them.
Waffle House needs to do this. Waffle House in the South, I don't know if they're everywhere, but Waffle House, like at 3 a.m., you know, it's like a $20 pancake. Then people will quit going there.
Taco Bell.
And Taco Bell, yeah, exactly.
2 a.m.
There is always a line, regardless of what time of day outside of a Taco Bell. I'm always just amazed.
I love most new Taco Bells too. They have a sign just says breakfast, and I never think Taco
7 a.m.
Bell-
man.
I
Start
know.
right up at 7 a.m.
Really?
Pass by it every day on the way here.
Well, lawmakers in Hawaii are moving forward with a $25 climate tax on tourists who visit the Aloha State. They claim it's in an effort to fight what they call an assault on the state's natural resources. More than 9 million people booked a trip to the Aloha State last year. The proposed tax will help pay to protect beaches and prevent wildfires. A tax by the nation's 50th state would follow in the footsteps of other tourist hotspots, including Greece, Venice, Italy, even the Galapagos Islands, all of which have levied fees on tourists ranging from $1 to $100. The Aloha tourist fee would likely be tacked onto the state's hotel tax, which is among the highest in the country. That's an easy way of kind of hiding it.
Yeah, you can smuggle it under the
Yeah.
hotel price that you're probably not going to be able to notice anyway, as you said. And they're going to have to do something, and that is the easiest way is to get a tax. I know in San Diego, the Chargers left because they didn't want to build a new stadium for them, which would have caused, they'd put it on a referendum to pay higher taxes, and people that would come and visit there would help pay for that as well. And they're like, people are like, no, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to happen. And the folks in Hawaii, I'm sure tourism is where their money comes from.
Sure.
But they're like, well, if this is where the money's going to come from, let's get more money from it. Where else is it going to come from?
Right, and in addition to the Maui wildfires, all of that, they're looking to try and improve the environment, and of course, protect what they already have, because obviously they've got a lot of natural resources, and when you've got a bunch of people coming to visit, you got to do what you can to protect your coastlines and your natural habitat.
And I just heard a commercial driving into work today, and they give all the prices. It gets prices higher in Hawaii and Alaska.
Yeah, yes.
And I always feel bad, but it's expensive. You know that going there, it's going to be. So
Yes.
I think people that go to Hawaii know, okay, I'm going to pay more, so will not even be noticeable.
I always see that note too when you order online and it says, no delivery for people who live in Alaska or Hawaii or Puerto Rico.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
always feel bad for
But
them.
I mean, here in Orlando, we have something similar. Orange County, they've got a specific tourist
Right.
tax that helps pay for everything. And of course, if you go to any of the theme parks, you're paying a little extra, which you don't know for a tourist
Now
tax.
you know to keep that in mind. We got more trending news and entertainment coming your way, plus lots of fun. You go anywhere, you miss out on it. You're watching Daily Flash.
What is KSA Entertainment? It's trending news, entertainment, lifestyle, KSA Entertainment, culture, it's love, it's food, it's family, KSA, it's life, it's shopping, it's empowerment, KSA Entertainment, it's fitness, it's travel, KSA, it's fun, it's engaging, it's Daily Flash Latino, life, love, shopping. This is KSA Entertainment.
In this week's Help My Home, we call on our favorite home improvement guy, Gator.
Hey, this is Gator with a few easy hacks to help you help your home. I get a lot of questions on how to clean your dryer vent, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. But you're going to need to get you a dryer vent cleaning kit. It's a little brush like this and a bunch of these little flexible extensions. Depending on how long you get it, they come in many different lengths. Mine's about 40 feet. I'm going to show you how it works right now. Locate your dryer vent on the outside of your house. They don't all look like this. This one has louvers that pop up when the dryer's on. They're all a little different, but you're going to want to remove this from the house. This one has 4 screws. So now that I got the cover removed, this is the pipe that the lint comes out of, that the dryer vents. And I can see just by sticking my hand in here, right up here in the front, I can already see there's a lot of lint in here. So Now I've put together about 10 feet or so of this rod, and I've got the brush on the end, and I've attached it to the drill with the extension piece that comes with the kit. First thing you want to do is go inside and turn your dryer on. You got your dryer running. This little brush is the exact same size as your dryer vent pipe. You're going to want to stick this in and just start running your drill. And as you can see, it's big time dirty. Repeat this process until you got it cleaned out. This is all the lint that came out of my dryer line. I can tell you right now that it's blowing twice as hard as it was. Clean your dryer vent. Took about 15 minutes. Here's a pro tip. Only run your drill in forward speed. Forward speed in, forward speed, and just pull it out. It's going to save on your electric bill, and your dryer is going to work a whole lot better. Next, take a pool noodle, cut it to your desired length, put a slit down the middle, place it on the stalk of your trees, maybe your flowers. This is a lemon tree. This is going to help protect the stalk while it's growing when it's little. It'll also help keep it holding up right. When you get this thing in the ground, this will keep your weed eater from hitting it, your lawnmower off of it, pool noodle on your little trees. Next. This is a great question, and there's tons of things that these ladders will do. I'm going to start with the first thing that I like to do, and that's my tape measure. I like to hook it on this little bar right here. That way when I'm up here working, I can just reach down and grab my tape. If I don't have my tool belt on, you can sit on top of the ladder, but it's usually in the way. As soon as you get up here, you're going to notice these holes. This little circle in the middle will hold a quart of paint. It'll also hold a roll of tape. I like to put my screws here when I'm working. You can put your screwdriver in these holes, your pliers, your drill goes there, and this will hold your hammer. On the back of the ladder is a hook. This is where you hang your 5-gallon paint cans. On the front of the ladder is 2 little slits. That's where your roller tray goes. It sits right here so that you can paint off of your ladder. Not all ladders are going to have these functions on the top. This is a Werner ladder. I've had this about 20 years. You get a ladder like this and you're not going to have problems. I've used this almost every day. Next, I'm going to give you a tip on how to make your refrigerator run better and more efficient, and sometimes it'll even cool better, and that's cleaning your coils, and it should be done at least once a year. If you have pets, sometimes more, and it's simple, and I'm going to show you right now. Let's go. All right, this is just your standard top freezer, bottom refrigerator, okay? Open it up like this, come to the bottom to this piece right here, and it just pops right off with some little clips, just like that. And even if you got a double door refrigerator, it's going to be the exact same thing. Then you're going to want to look in this little gap right here, and you're going to see this coil, which is this black thing right here, and it goes all the way back, and there's lots of dirt and dust on it. Go to your hardware store and get one of these. It's called a dryer vent lint cleaner, and use this to clean your coils on your fridge. Just like this. If you've got an older fridge, the coils will be on the back of the refrigerator, exposed. Next, be sure to catch my home hacks and more right here on the Daily Flash.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Andrea Jackson. It's time to get flashed, and this one may be a heartbreaker. Should a widow get flashed by her kids for selling and throwing away things that belonged to her late husband? Okay, get this. The woman is catching flack from her kids because she's decided to make space in her home. After his death, her adult children were given several chances to take some of their dad's belongings, but they never showed up to get them. Everything hit the fan when the widow decided to hold a yard sale and get rid of the stuff. So, who is in the wrong? This is how our Get Flash segment works. We go to each person, each host on the show, and they get 15 seconds to respond. So we are going to start with Matt Doolittle, who's in the flashback room. Matt, you've got 15 seconds to respond. The time starts now.
See, I had a different situation. My dad had so much junk, we just threw it out. But we gave everybody a shot. We called his uncle, said, hey, you want to, you can kind of get first dibs. We didn't just throw it out. So I think it's kind of hurting the kids a lot that she just decided to get rid of all this without letting them have a shot at it, honestly. Like, that kind of hurts. Like, if we had gotten rid of, like, my dad's fishing rod, I would have been mad.
Okay, Mitch, you're up next.
Okay, I'm in Matt's camp, number one. But here's the thing, is that forget about your kids. You gave them a chance. First off, your dedication after your kids become adults is to your spouse, your husband, or whatsoever. You gave them opportunity to do it. I say sell everything, use the money for yourself. They could have done the exact same thing, or even organized a garage sale and then split the money among everybody. So it's their fault.
Okay, Fabian, you are up next.
I actually, if this was my dad, I would be very mad. I don't think it would be funny if my mom was trying to sell my dad's stuff, and I would like to keep some of that memorabilia. But hey, if we got the chance to keep it and we didn't, I think it's on us now. I'm not even sure how to go at this.
You were
anymore.
too lazy, Fabian, to go over there and get the stuff, man. So it should be your fault.
It is kind of my fault. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, Matt, weigh in again. What do you think about Fabian's response?
I mean, I get that, but again, like going back to kind of what I was saying, it's like I got a different situation. I'm an only child, so it's a lot more of it's sentimental, and a lot of it was I knew I was getting it, but I mean, there wasn't a lot there, so I don't know how much stuff they actually had. Were there shirts and stuff? Like literally, there were like 5 trinkets I kept with my dad. So there wasn't a lot of stuff.
I know Matt, and we were building some stuff before, and he goes, I think my dad's got a saw right there in the back. And he was saying, I don't know, he's got so much stuff in the garage. So I know Matt is like, you still have it, but like there's going to be a day when somebody's going to have to come and get all that stuff.
I've tried to sell it. Nobody wants it.
The saw, to me, it was cool though, because it was nice and rusty and everything, and you could tell that they had it for a long time. It's hard to do that, especially when it's because we put emotional attachments to things, and that's where hoarding comes from eventually, and you have to let go of that sort of thing. And it's almost like a rite of passage. You got to let go to let dad go. I mean, otherwise you're just holding on to something.
But I think, though, there's got to be a sort of time limit built into these things, especially when it comes to family, because if she did, in fact, let the kids know, how much time did she give them to respond? Was it a day? Was it a week? Was it a month? And if they didn't respond, then that's on them.
Hey,
I got one thing.
Sure.
Does she actually love that husband that left? I mean, why did she want to drop all his things off, immediately? How long was he gone for? You know what I mean? Was it like a year maybe? She was like, I'm tired of this stuff.
Let me ask you about this. What if it was a stepmom situation? Let's say mom was no longer around.
Oh, see, that's a different dynamic.
When you said that, isn't that weird? Even though that they still have the same responsibility, it's weirder if she winds up selling it. But hey, look, again, as I said earlier, once your kids are adults, you are dedicated to your spouse, in my opinion, and that's where you're looking out for that person's best interests. So.
I wanted to keep some of the stuff. If it was up to my mom, she would have tossed everything the day he was gone. Yes, they were together 37 years. She just didn't want to deal with any of it.
Wow.
Interesting. See, and I think this is where a will comes into place.
Yeah,
It's so important. I know it's a touchy subject for most people, but in order to make sure that everything is done the way you want it done, you've got to write it down, even if it's on a simple piece of paper to say, hey, my son gets my suit collection. Hey, my daughter gets my game collection.
I love that, Andrea.
Yeah.
I wish I could get a suit collection, you know what I'm saying? I'm not wishing the worst on my dad,
Old
though.
school.
Come on now.
You know what? Just wait till I go and you guys have to go through all my clothes I have in the back.
All right.
gone.
That's our
Gone.
Get Flash segment. For more, head to our website, dailyflashshow.com.
We got so much more trending news and entertainment that's going to be heading your way. First, though, we got to check in with our friends at The Daily Buzz right here on Daily Flash.
59% of Americans have vowed to save more money this year. Fortunately, there are apps for that.
I love the banking features that specifically help you boost your savings, and one of them is automatic saving. So if you're a Chase customer, you can set up Chase Auto Save, where you choose a specific amount of money and the frequency where you want to move it from your checking account into your savings account. So you're automatically going to be saving, and you only have to set it up one time, and you don't have to try to remember to do it. And then the last one is the Pay in 4 feature. So if you're in the Chase app, you can just scroll through your transactions and find a larger purchase, maybe a little larger than your typical purchase, and then click on it, and you'll see the option to set up Pay in 4. So you can break up that large purchase into 4 smaller payment amounts, and that will just, free up a little wiggle room in your budget.
62% of consumers are turning to banking apps to help them achieve financial goals in many ways. Get more info at chase.com/mobile.
Gen Zers and millennials are struggling with their mental health more than older generations, according to a new study commissioned by Redbox RX, a telehealth and online pharmacy provider. The study of more than 2,200 U.S. adults conducted by Morning Consult found that 41% of Gen Zers and 36% of millennials report more mental health struggles in the past year, compared with 21% of adults 45 and older.
While nearly 75% of Americans have struggled with mental health in the past year, only 37% with consistent or worsening mental health struggles have sought professional care.
Gen Zers and millennials more frequently experience loneliness and failure to achieve life goals.
At Redbox RX, we offer quick, easy, and discreet access to healthcare professionals who can treat a number of mental health conditions and prescribe medication that is shipped directly to your home.
To learn more, visit redboxrx.com.
If you're one of the many people who observe the Lenten season by eating fish on Friday, you're not alone. Almost half the people who attend church services at least once a month say they observe Lent. Lifestyle expert Marilee Kern says consider serving fish such as salmon and cod. The Mardi Gras season is also right before Lent, so if you're entertaining on a meatless Friday or just looking for something delicious for everyday life, Kern suggests serving up some seafood like shrimp.
Maury's products include premium fish fillets paired with chef-inspired marinades. The wild salmon seasoned grill and wild cod butter and herb are guaranteed crowd pleasers. And Sea-Pack jumbo coconut shrimp and popcorn shrimp are not only delicious, but are easily prepared in the air fryer, oven, or deep fryer. These crispy, easy-to-make shrimp are perfect for everything from parties to meal planning.
To learn more, you can visit cpac.com and Maury's.com.
Follow The Daily Buzz on social media.
Hey, before we head into the weekend, we always like to give you our picks for streaming for the weekend. This is where we tell you something you got to check out on your streaming services. Matt, we're going to start with you.
Well, I'm a little bit of a race fan, and
Yeah,
Netflix put this docuseries out that's amazing. It's called NASCAR Full Speed. Check it out.
Playoff berths are on the line.
When I feel like a wreck is about to happen, I get out of the hornet's nest.
Then he's had enough. Very proud of his spidey sense.
And you get to go behind the scenes and see what it takes to be a NASCAR driver and get a real in-depth look at the driver. And like I've had to explain to people forever, it's not just rednecks turning left. There's a lot more involved. So now hopefully this shows it.
Yeah,
So,
they're
you've been in the
athletes for
pits
sure.
with me, so.
It's amazing out there, right? Hey, if you guys are looking for an irreverent comedy, Peter Farrelly gives us Louder Milk, now streaming on Prime.
I'd like a large coffee.
Okay, room for cream.
Totally leave room for cream.
Why are you so rude, man?
Just stop doing that.
Louder milk! Louder milk.
Louder milk.
Louder milk. Okay, we're done with
And this show stars Matt Doolittle, I'm sorry, that's Ron Livingston, as Sam Loudermilk. He's a recovering alcoholic that discovers that when your life's a complete mess, just actually getting clean is the easy part. If you like the Farrelly Brothers, there's a tinge of that Farrelly Brothers humor, but inappropriate stuff that makes you, it's uncomfortable to watch, but you learn a lesson at the end.
I love Ron Livingston. I think
great.
he's so underrated.
I agree with you,
Yeah.
100%.
My pick for this week is the Netflix true crime doc American Nightmare.
There's blood in your house. Do you know where she is? I didn't do anything. Yeah, you did.
Oh my God, it's her.
I just got a message. She's walking over to my house.
One of the most bizarre stories. Originally, it was billed as a Gone Girl kind of thing, but once you get deep into it, there's so many twists and turns. It's unbelievable what this couple went through. I don't want to give too much away because it's worth watching, but you will be stunned by the outcome of this documentary.
These documentaries, obviously, all based on fact, and I imagine news clips and everything that happened through there as well. I love that. Right now, I got that one.
Well,
I love my docs.
true crime, it's so addictive.
Isn't that crazy? Even not only for TV, but for like for podcasts.
I always have to keep myself from going to Wikipedia and finding out what really happened before it ends. I'm always like, no.
Yeah, just find, see how it, because they always give you that twist at the end.
Yeah.
And if you know it, it kind of takes it away. That does it for our show. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Be good, everybody. For more information, head to our website, dailyflashshow.com.
Bye-bye, everyone.